Hello y'all, and welcome back to the channel where the biblical backgrounds matter. You'll remember that in the previous video we studied that Joseph had been imprisoned and he had interpreted the dreams of the chief baker and the chief butler. The chief baker was killed, the chief butler was restored. Joseph was still in prison, and after a certain amount of time, Pharaoh started dreaming dreams. He consulted all the magicians at the house, and none of them could interpret. So finally, the chief butler had remembered Joseph, as Joseph had requested, and he told Pharaoh about him. So Joseph was taken out of prison, and he was brought before Pharaoh, and he interpreted the dreams of Pharaoh. And just as he had interpreted, there came a famine into the land of Egypt. Pharaoh had made Joseph basically his second in command, and called him to store up food into the storage house. Now this famine became worldwide, and it had finally hit the land of Canaan, where Jacob and the 10 tribes of Israel were, and also Levi, who was later set apart for priesthood. Genesis 42:1. When Jacob saw that there was grain in Egypt, Jacob said to his sons, "Why do you look at one another?" And he said, "Indeed, I have heard that there is grain in Egypt. Go down to that place and buy for us there, that we may live and not die." So Joseph's 10 brothers went down to buy grain in Egypt. But Jacob did not send Joseph's brother Benjamin with his brothers, for he said, "Lest some calamity befall him." Remember that Benjamin was the youngest son of Jacob. By this time, Jacob was known as Israel. Benjamin was that 10th tribe of Israel later. Joseph was already down in Egypt, but his own family didn't know it yet. Only God knew about it. But nevertheless, Jacob, who was now known as Israel, was worried about losing Benjamin. Verse 3, so Joseph's 10 brothers went down to buy grain, but Jacob did not send Joseph's brother Benjamin with his brothers, for he said, "Lest some calamity befall him." And the sons of Israel went to buy grain among those who journeyed, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. Now Joseph was governor over the land, and it was he who sold all the people of the land. It was he who sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brothers came and bowed before him with their faces to the earth. See, Joseph had already dreamed of this. He had already told his brothers and his parents that this would happen. His brothers resented him for it, and his father rebuked him for it. But But this is how God was bringing this all to pass. So Joseph's brothers were now bowing to him, just as God had shown him in a dream. Verse 7, Joseph saw his brothers and recognized them, but he acted as a stranger to them and spoke roughly to them. Then he said to them, "Where do you come from?" And they said, "From the land of Canaan to buy food." So Joseph recognized his brothers, but they did not recognize him. Then Joseph remembered the dreams which he had dreamed about them, and said to them, "You are spies. You have come to see the nakedness of the land." And they said to him, "No, my lord, but your servants have come to buy food. We are all one man's sons. We are honest men. Your servants are not spies." But he said to them, "No, but you have come to see the nakedness of the land." And they said, "Your servants are 12 brothers, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And in fact, the youngest is with our father today, and one is no more." But Joseph said to them, "It is as I spoke to you, saying, you are spies. In this manner you shall be tested by the life of Pharaoh. You shall not leave this place unless your youngest brother comes here. Send one of you, and let him bring your brother, and you shall be kept in prison, that your words may be tested to see whether there is any truth in you. Or else by the life of Pharaoh, surely you are spies." So he put them all together in prison 3 days. Then Joseph said to them, "The 3rd day do this and live, for I fear God. If you are honest men, let one of your brothers be confined to your prison house. But you go and carry grain for the famine of your houses, and bring your youngest brother to me, so your words will be verified, and you shall not die." And they did so. Then they said to one another, "We are truly guilty concerning our brother, for we saw the anguish of his soul when he pleaded with us, and we would not hear. Therefore this distress has come upon us." And Reuben answered them, saying, "Did I not speak to you, saying, 'Do not sin against the boy'? And you would not listen. Therefore, behold, his blood is now required of us." But they did not know that Joseph understood them, for he spoke to them through an interpreter. And he turned himself away from them and wept. Then he returned to them again and talked with them. And he took Simeon from them and bound him before their eyes. Only Reuben remembered that he had told his brothers not to lay hands on Joseph. So he was now reminding them of the guilt that they brought on themselves. Joseph was right there in front of them, but they did not recognize him as he recognized them. So it seems to me that Joseph was now passing judgment on them, as God had told him he would do. And they would all serve him and bow to him. So they were now bowing to him as they did not recognize him. Finishing out chapter 42, we have verses 25 through 38. Then Joseph gave a command to fill their sacks with grain, to restore every man's money to his sack, and to give them provisions for the journey. God was already using Joseph to provide for his family in a time of famine. Thus he did for them. So they loaded their donkeys with the grain and departed from there. But as one of them opened his sack to give his donkey feed at the encampment, he saw his money, and there it was in the mouth of his sack. So he said to his brothers, "My money has been restored, and there it is in my sack." Then their hearts failed them, and they were afraid, saying to one another, "What is this that God has done to us?" Then they went to Jacob, their father, in the land of Canaan, and told him all that had happened to them, saying, "The man who is Lord of the land spoke roughly to us, and took us for spies of the country. We said to him, 'We are honest men, we are not spies. We are 12 brothers, sons of our father. One is no more, and the youngest is with our father this day in the land of Canaan.' Then the man, the Lord of the country, said to us, 'By this I will know that you are honest men. Leave one of your brothers here with me. Take food for the famine to your households, and be gone. And bring your youngest brother to me, so I shall know that you are not spies, but that you are honest men. I will grant your brother to you, and you may trade in the land.' Then it happened as they emptied their sacks that, surprisingly, each man's bundle of money was in his sack. And when they and their father saw the bundles of money, they were afraid. And Jacob their father said to them, 'You have bereaved me. Joseph is no more, Simeon is no more, and you want to take Benjamin? All these things are against me.' Then Reuben spoke to his father, saying, 'Kill my 2 sons, if I do not bring him back to you. Put him in my hands, and I will bring him back to you.' But he said, 'My son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. If any calamity shall befall him along the way in which you go, then you would bring down my gray hair and sorrow to the grave.'" Remember that Joseph and Benjamin were the sons of Jacob by Rachel. They were the last 2 sons of Israel. Thus Benjamin was the 10th tribe. And because Joseph was not recognized by his own brothers, they thought for sure that Joseph was dead. So did Jacob. And Jacob was still mourning over Joseph. Simeon was left alone in the prison, while the 10 brothers went back to get Benjamin. And thus Reuben made the promise that if Benjamin did not come back alive, then Jacob could kill his 2 sons. It seems to me that Reuben had enough faith in God to bring Benjamin to Egypt to see Joseph and to bring him back alive. And thus he promised to sacrifice his own 2 sons if Benjamin was not brought back alive. But also, as we get into chapter 43, and we'll do the first 10 verses today. Now the famine was severe in the land, and it came to pass, when they had eaten up the grain which they had brought from Egypt, that their father said to them, Go back, buy us a little food. But Judah spoke to him, saying, The man solemnly warned us, saying, You shall not see my face unless your brother is with you. If you send our brother with us, we will go down and buy you food. But if you will not send him, we will not go down. For the man said to us, You shall not see my face unless your brother is with you. And Israel said, Why do you deal so wrongfully with me, as to tell the man whether you had still another brother? But they said, The man asked us pointedly about ourselves and our family, saying, Is your father still alive? Have you another brother? And we told him according to these words. Could we possibly have known that he would say, Bring your brother down? Then Judah said to Israel his father, Send the lad with me, and we will arise and go, that we may live and not die, both we and you, and also our little ones. I myself will be surety for him. From my hand you shall require him. If I do not bring him back to you and set him before you, then let me bear the blame forever. For if we had not lingered, surely by now we would have returned this 2nd time. Now Judah is pleading with Israel his father. Joseph was being used by God himself to provide for the famine in the land. So we have here a typology, an example of how Christ would provide salvation and redemption for all who truly believe on him. Even so, Joseph was being used to provide food for the famine, but he was also testing his brothers by sending them back and leaving Simeon in prison. He was sending the other 10 back to get Benjamin. Obviously, he was interested in how his father Israel and Benjamin were both doing. And let's go verses 11 through 15. And their father Israel said to them, If it must be so, then do this. Take some of the best fruits of the land in your vessels, and carried down a present for the man, a little balm and a little honey, spices and myrrh, pistachio nuts and almonds. Take double money in your hand, and take back in your hand the money that was returned in the mouth of your sacks. Perhaps it was an oversight. Take your brother also, and arise and go back to the man, and may God Almighty give you mercy before the man, that he may release your other brother and Benjamin, for I am bereaved. I am bereaved. So the men took that present and Benjamin, and they took double money in their hand, and arose and went down to Egypt, and they stood before Joseph. They didn't realize it, but God was already having mercy on them. And He was already providing their needs, as He does for everyone who truly believes in Him. God was providing for the needs of Israel already by the hand of Joseph, just as He provides salvation by the atoning blood of Jesus Christ. And we'll stop there for today, and we'll pick up in verse 16 the next time. But until then, remember that biblical backgrounds matter. God bless y'all.